Hi, I'm Steve.
And I'm Sandy, and we're two tenderfoot tourists. Welcome to episode 60, the one about bunny hops, barrel rolls, and boomerangs, part 2.
Okay, so here we are again.
Yes.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming back in. I know that you had a busy schedule.
A lot's happened this last week since the last time we talked.
It's like, you know what I'm really disappointed in is the fact you're still wearing the same clothes that you were wearing when you were here the last time.
We should be glad I have clothes.
You know what? I take back everything I said. Okay, so where did we leave off? Okay, which roller coasters did we talk about the last time?
Okay, we were on my top 5.
Yeah, you're on your top 5. But
so I've got 6 of those.
And we saved the best one for the second part of this series, I guess, if you want to call it.
The best roller coaster?
Yeah, I'm playing it up.
No, that's not
I'm playing it up.
Yeah, it's the best one.
It is the best
Yes.
one. If you don't ride this, you're a nerd.
Yes, it goes
which is not
in
a bad
space.
thing nowadays. Oh, there you go. Goes in space. Yes. Okay. So, which ones had we already covered in part 1? We covered which one? Roller coasters.
The Beast.
Oh, yes, that's
Right.
right. The Beast.
The Banshee.
Yes. Got alliteration going already.
Yeah, the bees in this episode.
Yes.
Outlaw Run.
Oh, there we ruined it.
Yeah, that we did. A Top Thrill Dragster.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. Yes, that one
looks
was
cool.
crazy.
Yeah, that's a good one. What was the last? Oh, the Magnum.
Oh, the Magnum.
Yeah.
The Magnum.
Yes.
The one that has a soft spot in my heart.
Yes.
Yes.
Because it overlooks the sea.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and
awesome.
Airtime galore.
Airtime galore. And someone tried to disappoint
Well,
you.
that was a different one.
Different
roller coaster.
Oh, that's right. There was one over...
That was in Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah,
Yes.
Six Flags.
Okay, I gotcha. Wow, shows I was not paying attention, apparently. A week has gone by. I've slept...
Well, that's right. Yeah, I've had some time to forget.
Okay, so which one are you bringing to our listeners today?
Okay.
You know what? I forgot to introduce him.
Jason's back.
It's okay.
Jason's back. Okay,
This
this is
guy.
Jason. Okay, now what do you got for us?
Okay, cool. The Maverick.
Oh, that
Which-
sounds cool right off the bat.
The Maverick.
Maverick. Yeah, and I am not speaking of John McCain.
Oh, okay. Or you're not thinking of James Garner.
Correct. Yes. Good work. That was the other one.
Yes. Or Mel Gibson.
Yeah, right. Mel Gibson was Maverick too,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
sure he was, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Anyway, so the Maverick. Where
Maverick.
is this at and
Cedar
what is
Point?
it about? Cedar Point.
So, a detective theme here.
Yeah, I was going to say Cedar Point seems to come up a lot when it
Cedar
comes to
Point and
favorite.
Kings Island.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned Cedar City also, but
Which is weird because you think a lot of people go to like Disney World or like
Well, they do, yeah.
Universal Studios and say my favorite ride is, and it'd be at Disney World or at Universal Studios. But if anybody who's like a roller coaster enthusiast, they seem to gravitate towards Kings Island and Cedar Point.
Yeah, that's true. Cedar Point for the longest time was considered the roller coaster capital of the world just
Oh.
because they had the most of any park.
No, what I mean by most, like the number.
Most roller coasters, just number.
How many roller coasters do they currently have?
I should have looked that up. I'm going to guess 18.
Okay.
But that also counts like a kiddie roller coaster because they want to count everything they possibly can to beef up their number.
I got it.
So, the little one that goes in a circle with,
Yeah.
like with Bugs Bunny cartoon, that they count that as a roller coaster.
Wow.
okay, I'm scrolling through pictures here of this ride. That's pretty cool. And
Is
I
it?
think
Which
I would
one?
ride it.
The Maverick?
Maverick, yeah.
Because it has the shoulder.
Well,
Thanks.
they can't be perfect.
That makes me feel better.
Okay.
That makes me feel a
Jason.
lot worse.
I had a feeling. Okay, so Maverick.
Maverick. So Cedar Point, relatively new, not the biggest, not the fastest, not the baddest. It's just fun.
Okay. So
And it has, what's cool about it, one of the fun facts about the Maverick is it's one of the, there's some around now, but it's one of a few roller coasters to have a beyond 90-degree drop.
oh wow. You mean like it goes in on itself?
Yeah, it buckles a little bit.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's
Oh, I
fun.
see right there.
Yeah, that's it. It's not huge, but it's just enough. It's technically beyond 90 degrees. Yeah.
See?
Yep, I was just looking at it too.
Oh, that is insane.
Yeah, it's cool.
And it even looks like it twists a little bit as it goes down.
No,
Does it?
it doesn't. It's a straight drop.
Is it straight drop? Oh, okay.
I think it twists at the bottom, if I remember right.
Okay. So anyway, you're gonna. It's not the fastest. It's not the tallest.
Nope.
But the reason why it's so special is because
It's just fun.
it's
It's well paced, and what it does, it's just perfectly laid out. It's got scenery around it, so it goes in and out of rocks. You can see the water. It's a close to perfect roller coaster in a lot of ways.
Is it pretty smooth?
It's very smooth, yeah. It's got 2 launches, 0 to 70 in 3 seconds. Yeah, 100 feet, so it's not that tall. 70 miles an hour is pretty good. Vertical angle, 95-degree drops.
Wow, 95. So it's got a 5-degree extra.
Yeah.
On the actual down
underneath it.
That is insane. And what does that feel like to be on a ride like that when you're going on that?
Yeah, I was wondering that myself. Honestly, I didn't notice it a whole lot riding it. It just felt like it was straight down. It wasn't enough to really be like, oh, I'm hanging out of my seat or something like that. Which, too bad, huh?
Too bad,
what a shame.
Yeah. What a shame.
Aw, darn.
Now, there's one in Japan. I wish I could remember the name of it. It literally goes almost diagonal.
Really? Like another, 10 or 15?
At least, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so now who makes this anyway?
It was designed by Werner Stengel. I don't know how you say that right, or how to say that. It's Stengel. He's a very famous roller coaster designer.
Oh, is he? Yeah. Really?
Yeah. He works with lots of different companies, but a lot of the best roller coasters you see, chances are he's had some hand in it, even with, he's not associated with any one particular company. He can.
Does he do anything with B&M
Yeah,
too?
I think he has.
Has he?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's cool.
So it's a good one. And it's cool because the station, you go up the stairs and the station is on top. And then the ride goes up and you saw the beyond 90-degree drop. You do some turns and an inversion. I think there's a couple inversions in it. But then in the middle of the ride, you come out, or you come into the station underneath where the loading platform is. And it's a long launch section. It kind of stops you and then does just another launch. And then it takes you into a 90-degree turn that's just incredible, going like 70 miles an hour.
Wow.
Really sharp, yeah.
Wow.
That's the
so
best
it
part of
really
the ride.
plants you in the seat. It really plants you.
And it's a lot of directional changes. So you're making a left turn, then quickly and suddenly you're flipping to a right turn and back, and it whips you, not painfully.
Does it go like this, like back and forth like that?
More like this. Turn.
Just waving back and
So
forth.
you guys are doing all this like this, this.
Everybody sees
this.
what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, they totally see what you're saying. Yes. I'm also 6'4", and I am full of muscles.
So I was just reading
I have
something.
a face for radio.
Yes, I do too. And
Don't
a body
we
for
all?
it too.
Anywho, I was just reading about it. I thought it was interesting, and you probably already know this, but it said that when it originally was launched, they delayed it because they had to replace track because they had
I do not remember
Heartline.
A Heartline roll, yeah?
Yes. And they replaced it with an S.
No kidding.
turn
I did not know that.
Because they said the place where the Heartline roll, they had to replace several sections of track
Too
because
many
of a
Gs?
problem. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
That's what I was
What is a Heartline roll?
That is, it's almost like a barrel roll.
Oh, okay.
It's just twisting. Supposedly the thing is your heart stays in the same spot, but your body rotates. So whether you're upside down or right side up, your heart is still, is in the same spot. I don't know. It's probably not true, but that's
okay.
That's why they
the
call
idea.
it. That's the idea. Yeah. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah.
But whatever.
But I guess
Who cares?
I guess somehow it wasn't exactly what they thought it was going to be, and they had to replace it.
That's interesting. I do not remember that. I might have to look that up.
So, okay, wow. So now we did the last one of your favorites.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many others, but those are the top of my list.
He had that list only because you made him narrow it down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'd have been like 20 or 30.
Yeah. So basically, I'm telling you to get rid of some of your children.
Really?
Is that how that would? Isn't that the way you
Yeah.
said it? It's like, tell me which one is your favorite. It's like, well, it's like asking me which one of my children are my favorite.
That's right. That's correct.
Okay. Anyway.
Kids, if you're listening, I like all of you equally.
Yeah. You picked out, or I had you pick out, 5 or 6. I'm sorry, 6 of the favorites.
You said top 5, and I came with 6.
Yes. And so then you had...
He's an overachiever.
Yes. So then you had like 4 that you said...
Yeah, you said a bottom 5, and I came with 3.
Came with 3.
So I'm an underachiever.
Okay.
And that took some work, didn't it?
That did take some work. That was the hardest part. Yeah, is coming up with the bottom, not the top.
Okay, now why would you, I understand why you struggled. I get that. But why would these meet the bottom 3? I mean, what kind of standard are the reasons why they are the bottom 3?
I think they're different. I think we'll have to go through them.
Okay, we'll give us the first one then.
The first one I picked, it was tough. See, I like it for lots of reasons, but I don't for lots of reasons as well.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the Mean Streak at Cedar Point.
Okay.
And it is actually no longer standing as it was built. remember we talked last week about Rocky Mountain Construction Company that built Outlaw Run.
Yeah.
And they were famous for reprofiling wooden coasters and turning them, taking the track off and putting the steel on.
Yep.
Well, they did that to Mean Streak. Mean Streak was a wooden coaster that was built, I think, either late 80s, maybe early 90s, I think. And they just this year was the first year for it. They just did over the last year. They tore the track off, kept a lot of the supports in place, and kind of reprofiled it and put new track on it and everything. So it's pretty much a different ride experience now.
No, okay. And that's the reason why you put that on the list?
No,
because...
so I have not ridden it since it's been reprofiled. It's been renamed. I believe the new name is Steel Vengeance, I believe. But as it was originally built, it was called Mean Streak, and it was just a typical wooden roller coaster in terms of the style. Now, what I loved about it was, kind of like others at Cedar Point, it sat, right on the water.
Oh, okay.
It was on the beach.
See, I would love that.
And you pull a picture of it up. It's literally one of probably the most, and I use this term as a coaster enthusiast, one of the most beautiful coasters I've ever seen. One of the most photogenic.
Mean Streak.
Mean Streak, Cedar Point.
There it is.
Yeah, it looks just really cool and really awesome.
Oh, I can see why you say it's pretty. I mean, it really is.
Yeah.
It's very photogenic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Oh,
that
yeah,
is really pretty.
If I had to pick like a picture of a roller coaster to put in my room, which I do have one of those, but that would be one I would consider, from certain angles. I mean, it just looks.
See, I
really
think
cool.
that's a big part of what the wooden ones do for me is there's a draw of the eye. I like to just look at them.
Yeah. And that's another thing we were talking last time about B&M.
Oh, B&M, yeah.
B&M, the roller coaster manufacturer, they have the most elegant roller coaster designs I've ever seen in terms of you can just look at it and immediately know it's a B&M because it's just the lines and the curves and the angles. They're just very elegantly put together.
It's like a huge work of art.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It really is.
That
and you
is
see
incredible.
Yeah. It looks amazing.
Yeah, it does. It really kind of depicts what, if you say roller coaster,
this image could pop in your mind.
Yeah. Okay, so, but you put this on the list.
It's on the bottom, yeah.
Yeah, you put this on the bottom.
It was completely underwhelming for me.
Oh.
It was tall, so, I'm guessing if I remember about 160-ish feet, so that's nothing to slouch at, nothing to shake a stick at.
Right.
As far as wooden goes, that's pretty tall. That's pretty up there. And it had some decent speed, but there was no airtime.
I gotcha.
It was almost too gentle in terms of the transitions, where you'd think you'd feel some G's or something. It was too smooth and almost like, okay, what just happened? That didn't feel like, anything exciting or.
Right.
It was fun. That's why I say every time I went, I rode it. But every time I got off, they're like, oh yeah, that's why I didn't really like that. I remember now.
And this is when it was Mean Streak?
Mean Streak, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, here's a picture of Steel Vengeance.
Yeah, so they've reused a lot of the supports. And
I can see that, yeah.
It's a completely different ride now, and it looks absolutely awesome.
I start to say, in the pictures of this too, it looks really pretty, but it's just not the same.
It's not as
all the wood.
Right. So it was just, everything was just kind of blah.
Mean Streak really didn't have a Mean Streak.
It did not. It was not a Mean Streak.
Right.
We could call it Mr. Congeniality.
Mr. Congeniality.
That should be the name of the coaster. Yeah.
Well, it was formerly known as
Mr. Congeniality.
Yeah. So, that would be like if for someone like me that's absolute chicken with roller coaster. That
you
probably
might have been okay. Now the only thing is, it was bumpy. I remember Rick, when we went, he didn't want to ride it at all because it was just so bumpy.
Oh, okay. When you mean like as bumpy, if not bumpier than Screaming Eagle?
Yeah, probably similar. Yeah.
Yeah, that Screaming Eagle just drove me nuts. I can't, I refuse to ride it. Yeah, but it's aged, and it was designed by one of the most famous roller coaster designers of all time. Oh, Screaming Eagle was?
Yeah.
Oh, who's that?
John Allen.
Okay. So John Allen?
Yeah. So John Allen actually designed Screaming Eagle. He also designed the Racer at Kings Island, which is very, very similar. It's a wooden coaster. They're both white, and they were built about the same time. But the Racer was first. The Racer was credited as starting the modern golden age, what we consider we're in the middle of now, the golden age of roller coasters.
Okay. So what makes that the golden age? What makes it golden age?
There's just so many going up now. Like around the early 1900s, and we can talk history if you want to. Lots of roller coasters were being built, and they were trying new and crazy things, back in the Roaring 20s, and even before that. And then the Depression hit, and the wars, and that kind of thing. And really, a lot of coasters got torn down. Number one, and there just weren't a whole lot being built. Well, then he comes along, and they build the racer at what's now Kings Island. I think it was still called Coney Island at the time because it was supposed to be a replica of Coney Island in New York.
Oh, okay.
And it caught on and got so popular that other parks wanted in on it, and so that started the roller coaster boom.
Oh, okay.
Or the golden age, whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Wow. All right. Yeah, well, I'd like to get into the history. I would. Once we get
past some bottom.
Yeah, get some
bottoms.
So we already went through one, which was Mean Streak, which is no longer there.
Right. So you can't verify me on that.
Yeah. So
check me.
Good job.
Yeah. Well, I did that on purpose.
You can't even take his advice.
No, man. What's up with that?
Yeah. Cedar Point can't get mad at me now. Oh, the next one. Okay.
I heard that they can.
They can't. Yeah.
Like fans of Cedar Point can get pretty vicious.
Yeah. Coaster people can be very vicious.
Yeah.
I'm amazed at the community, and it's just backbiting and arguing, and it's I don't like that part of it.
It's not a good fellowship.
No, not in my opinion.
All right, tell us about another one.
Yeah,
okay.
Tell us about another one.
I'm gonna go. You're gonna detect a theme here. I'm gonna stay at Cedar Point, and I'm gonna stay with one that you guys can't ride.
Okay. Wow.
It was called. The last name was the Disaster Transport.
Well, automatically it doesn't sound good.
No, it sounds awesome. You're right. Who would not want to ride a ride that's named Disaster Transport?
Me.
Kyle would totally ride that.
Man.
Okay, so what makes this besides the obvious name title?
Well, it was originally built outdoors. It was just a standard, outdoor roller coaster. It got enclosed later as an indoor roller coaster.
Oh, okay.
But it was originally built outdoors, and it's what's called a bobsled roller coaster. And so what makes those unique is they don't have a track like you think of a track. It's more like a dry water slide or a bobsled track. So the coaster trains have wheels on them, but they're not stuck to a track. They go kind of in a trough.
Okay.
And they can go up on the sides.
Oh, wow.
Like that kind of thing. That's very controlled, obviously.
Right.
That's the difference. This one, it was a bobsled roller coaster, and it was just boring.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So what made it, why was it so boring? Is it because it just really didn't go very fast, or?
It didn't go very fast. Those types of roller coasters haven't traditionally been too successful. They're not as far as coaster enthusiasts go. It's just one of those things. Yeah, I want to ride it because it's a type, but it's not one like, I got to go ride that next bobsled coaster.
Okay, so Cedar City had like a bobsled sort of ride, didn't they? Like a
really?
Yeah, it's like it was a water one though. And you're
talking about the water boggin.
It was a water boggin?
That was like a water slide.
Yeah, that's the one I hated.
Yeah. Oh, that was fun.
I hated that.
Well, how come?
I'm a coward, and people kept rocking it. I didn't like that.
Well, you should have told me. I wouldn't have rocked our boat. I was guilty
of
that.
Those.
I am one of them.
He's one of those people.
Yeah.
Okay, so all right, so what was the name of this one you called?
Disaster Transport.
Disaster Transport. How could you forget an
I
awesome name like
can't
that?
help it. I'm old.
Well, yeah, that's two of us. So here's what go ahead.
Okay, no, I was just going to say, it's like, why would they call it a disaster transport?
Well, I don't remember. I don't think that's what the original name was when they built it. Mm-hmm. You might have to look that up. I don't recall what it was when Cedar Point built it, but they eventually decided to, that wasn't me. They eventually decided to enclose it, and they wanted to make it a dark roller coaster.
Oh, okay.
So think Space Mountain.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And in reality,
that sounds fun to me.
Well, likewise. And really, that's what they were trying to compete with. They were trying to make their own version of Space Mountain.
Okay.
So they took this existing roller coaster and they built walls and tunnels and stuff around it, so it was completely indoors.
Okay.
The problem is Cedar Point doesn't have quite the budget that Disney does.
Right.
So when it comes to like special effects and animatronics, think more like Ozark Empire Fair instead of Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
Like a dark ride going through, and
it's kind of like duct tape and paper mache, and I'm going to like put some strings on something and hope that
right. It's not quite that bad, but you get the analogy.
Yes, I get it.
And over the years, as it aged, kind of like the flooded mine at Silver City. Things quit working, and they didn't really bother to fix them, really.
Yeah,
so,
that's flooded mine, that's for sure.
Yeah, so parts of the scenes where, when they first built it, it was as cool as it could be. It kind of deteriorated, and they didn't spend any money on it.
Right.
So they just turned the lights off. So it was just in the dark, which is fine, but it wasn't super exciting to begin with. So it's just like moments, and the story made no sense. The story of the whole ride, because obviously they couldn't do Space Mountain because that,
that's copyrighted, I guess.
Yeah, the mouse had already done that one. So they made it a trip to Alaska.
Okay.
So you get aboard this train.
You put in air quotes, by the way. Nobody can see that, but you put it in. Okay, go ahead.
I thought you said where's the camera again?
No, it's somewhere in this room, and it will remain hidden.
Okay, gotcha. So
it's for our own protection.
Right. So you get aboard, and they tell you you're going to Alaska. Okay. And then there's, from what I remember, there's like random people in like spacesuits and just weird stuff. And then you get off, and it's like, welcome to Alaska.
Wow.
Cool. And you walk out the door, and then you're outside at, Cedar Point again. So the story, the theming just didn't work. Yeah.
Did you have to be tripping on acid for it to make sense?
Well, it probably would have helped, because in the latter years, you could actually buy 3D glasses to take with you, like $1 a piece, moneymaker, because they put some of the stuff in 3D, air quotes, stuff in 3D. And you had to buy their little glasses so you could see it. And the catch was, what they didn't tell you was, like 98% of all the 3D stuff was in line. On the walls.
Oh, wow.
It was kind of lame, yeah. So it was just lame all the way around.
And you can totally understand why that was not one worth writing, and two, it's no longer there.
Right. So it was one of those kind of like Mean Streak. I would write it every time I was there, but then I'd get off and be like, well, that was kind of
Why did I write that?
Yeah. Why did I just wait 45 minutes for that?
How many times did you ride that particular ride?
Several.
Several times?
Yeah, several over the years.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right. That's two that we can't test and check up on you.
This last one you can.
Okay. All right.
So this is my third of my bottom 5.
All right.
This is the Vortex, and this is at Kings Island. In Cincinnati. Those are my parks, man.
You quit beating up Cedar Point.
Those are my parks. Yeah. Well, Kings Island and Cedar Point are owned by the same company, so you could say I'm beating up on Cedar Fair. That's who owns
Cedar Fair.
Yeah.
I gotcha.
Sorry, Cedar Fair.
As long as it's not the Hershans.
Right. Right.
Wow. You're too close.
Too close. Too close to home for that.
Yeah.
Vortex is at Kings Island.
Yes.
It was built by Arrow. I believe it opened in the 70s.
We discussed
80s.
Something in the last
80s.
episode about Arrow construction, didn't we?
What did we? I forgot what we talked about.
What ride was it that we? Anyway,
Thunderation was built by Arrow.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Magnum 200. Magnum XL 200.
Okay.
Arrow.
It looks incredible.
It's another one of those that's super photogenic, and that or a similar picture was like my desktop background when I was in college, because it just looks awesome.
It is. It's really, really cool looking.
It is super cool looking. This ride hurts.
Oh, really?
Oh, it beats you up.
It beats the snot out of you. Headbanging. And I'm not talking the good kind, like when you're listening to music.
Oh, no.
I'm talking the kind that goes side to side, and you hit the over-the-shoulder restraints, which is another reason why I don't like those things. And if you got an earring or something, then you forget about it. You're going to have a bloody ear probably when you get like that. But it is just painful to ride.
The thing looks insane.
Yeah. It's got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 inversions, 6 or 7.
I don't know. It's hard to tell from
it just
the
wrapped
pictures.
around itself like a snake.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah. And the color looks cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's blue and orange.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And it just looks like an acid trip.
That was Disaster Transport.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry. But yeah,
it looks amazing. Even when you walk up to it, it's like, man, that looks pretty cool.
And you're thinking you're going to get into something that is like absolutely amazing.
Right.
But it just beats the snot out of you.
If it wasn't rough, it would be amazing, but it is not aged well. And in fact, there's one little part on the track, I can't even begin to describe it to you, but you can watch riders go and you can see the poor design of the track, and it just jerks, and you can see their head just right against the side. It's like, I'm not looking forward to that part.
So, but how many times have you rode that one, though?
Oh, 5 or 6.
5 or 6 times. Would you ride it again, though?
Yeah.
Would you?
Why wouldn't I?
Wow.
It's like asking me if I want to breathe again.
So, I mean, like, you have to wear a helmet, like a biker's helmet. It's like, okay, I'm ready on it. You strap it
I never
on
thought of that.
shit.
That's a good idea. Yeah, biker.
Biker helmet.
Jason's going to be like 80 years old with his little biker helmet on.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
Somebody hold my teeth. I want to go ride this roller coaster. I don't want them to fall out.
Yeah.
You got that, Sarah? I'll be right back.
Oh my gosh, that's killer. Vortex. Wow. Man, Cedar Point as well. Boy, I tell you what, Cedar
No,
Point.
that's Kings Island.
Oh, that's Kings
That's
Island.
Kings Island, yeah.
Okay, all right.
See, I could have picked some from Magic Mountain, Six Flags Magic Mountain in LA. That's a great park. That's the park that competes with Cedar Point. They go back and forth as to who's got the most coasters.
I was going to see, Magic Mountain is like, I hear it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I hear it. In fact, that's the backdrop for, Vacation movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Wally World.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also, they talk about it in Encino Man. You know,
Ooh, nice reference.
Oh, you like
Encino
that?
Man.
You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
I love that movie.
That was Pauly Shore.
Yeah.
That was great.
We
Brandon
love
Fraser?
that movie so much.
I haven't seen that in so long. Good work.
Oh, thank you.
A wheeze of the juice.
Yeah, I'm gonna break out the Biodome references.
Oh
after
my
this.
God.
That one's okay, but Encino Man is
Yeah.
my favorite.
Yeah, I can't. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but I mean, it's constantly talked about. I mean, out of all the Six Flags, out of the franchise,
It's
that is,
flagship.
or I don't know if you call it. Yeah.
It's and the other one is Great Adventure in New Jersey. That's the one that they have the roller coaster that's almost identical to the dragster, but it's got it beat out in height by like 20 feet.
Oh, okay.
So technically Cedar Point can't say they've got the tallest roller coaster anymore. Six Flags can.
Okay. All right. So, hey, I got a question real quick. Just right off the cuff. Is there a particular ride you're looking forward to in 2019?
Actually, yeah. And it's like we planned this, but we really didn't. We honestly did not plan this.
Yeah.
The one ride I was thinking, man, I'm really kind of excited about is at Magic Mountain next year, and it's called West Coast Racers.
Okay. What is
wow.
West Coast Racers?
Racers? Yeah. Apparently I guess there's a show or something called West Coast Customs, maybe.
I have
People
no
listening
idea.
will probably know. I have no idea. I'm too old for this kind of thing. But,
Not too old for a roller coaster.
oh, well, no.
No.
It's some kind of show where they work on cars and stuff. Well, they're theming this roller coaster as a car, big hot rod kind of thing, basically.
Okay.
So what it's going to do is it's one track, one continuous circuit track, but it's like you go twice. So you come out of the station, you get on, you come out of the station, and as you're coming out, another car comes up next to you.
Oh wait, I think I've seen video of this.
You might have.
Okay, go ahead.
And you both launch at the same time, and you're racing.
Yeah.
Air quote, racing.
Racing, yeah.
And you go around the circuit and weave through each other, and then the train that came out of the station, it becomes that second. It goes and they do a little show about the TV show or whatever, and it comes out as the second one, and then another one that just got reloaded comes out next to it.
Okay.
So it's like you race twice.
Yeah, exactly. And you launch again, and then you go back into the station and it starts over.
Okay.
That's pretty good. That's pretty cool because you're seeing how close they get.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it weaves in and out of each other, and like while one's
that would be
upside
cool.
down, one's right side up, right above you.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so if I say Dueling Dragons in Universal, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Oh my gosh.
They got rid of that. They tore that down.
Crime against humanity.
Tearing it down.
Yeah,
Liz?
Yeah.
that we should get trials and courts assembled for that.
Someone's head's gonna roll
Right,
for this.
yes.
But I mean, it kind of has that flavor to it.
Yes, very similar.
Because you have that type of...
Did you ride it?
No.
I didn't know they tore it down. I thought they changed the name of it. They tore it
it's
down.
gone.
Yeah,
they
they
did change the name, but it's gone.
I can't remember
That's
what
a
they're turning it.
shame,
It's another
'cause-
Harry Potter thing, right?
That's a shame because I think we both went, I kind of like to ride it, but we
Right.
chickened out.
Well, here's the thing. You can thank insurance companies for that one, because when it was built, it was exactly what it sounds like. It was a dueling roller coaster. Inverted.
Right.
They were inverted, so they
Right.
could run from the tracks. And there were different points where you would cross, and that was the big gimmick of it, where, one would be going while one was going under, and they'd flip. Well, then in the middle, they both had vertical loops, and they would come at each other like they were going to run into each other. But
Yeah.
instead of running into each other, they'd go up into the loop.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, very cool. And I want to say, this can't be right, but I want to say it was like 12, you were like 12 inches away, like your feet. So it looked
Supposedly,
like,
yeah.
your feet were going to hit each other. Well, stuff happened. I don't remember.
I thought some people were throwing their phones or something like that. I don't know.
And the insurance I think it was the insurance, made them quit doing the dueling aspect of it. So they used to, dispatch the two trains together so that, because it was designed and built to be timed to hit those.
Point.
Yeah. Well, they just do one and then they do the other.
Right.
And they do one and the other. And so they wouldn't duel anymore. So it was just like two roller coasters, which was fine. They were cool. But the whole point of it
loses
was,
the whole, So there was this new one called again?
West Coast Racers.
Over on the West Coast. And it's going to be at Magic Mountain.
Magic Mountain, yeah.
Okay,
Very
so
cool.
when is that supposed to debut in 2019?
Oh, I guess when opening, so March-ish.
March-ish,
yeah,
give or take.
So I have a question. It's totally out of we haven't even been here, but you mentioned the fairgrounds. How do you feel about these traveling roller coasters?
That is a really good question.
What do you mean by?
Do you ride them?
I don't think I ever have. I don't recall. I might have ridden one in high school.
The reason why I would suspect you wouldn't is because, not just because of the fact they do a lot of traveling, but because they don't meet the expectations of excitement that you would normally or typically get out of one that has been stationary and it's
they're usually
exclusively
not super
to a park.
Exciting, yeah.
I was just curious because
that is a good question.
Popped into my head when you mentioned the fairgrounds. But yeah.
Now, what you got to keep in mind is what we think about as carnival or fair roller coasters is not at all what Europe thinks about. They have traveling roller coasters over there that rival some of the biggest, baddest.
Really?
Yeah, that you'll find at a standalone or whatever, that they don't travel.
So, based upon what you said and what also Sandy asked, then my question is do you have any misgivings about a roller coaster that's broke down and rebuilt again? About riding them. I mean, do you think that is like a safety issue?
Are you talking
for
about whether it breaks down or there's an accident or whatever?
No, I mean a traveling, like what you're talking about, fairgrounds, where they have a roller coaster, they literally
they break it down.
They break it down and then they build it back up in a new location.
Yeah.
Breaking down, does that make you nervous?
Yeah, that'd make me a little nervous. It wouldn't keep me from riding one, probably.
Probably not.
No.
Okay. I was just wondering.
But you should look up the Oktoberfest. Sorry. In Germany, Oktoberfest celebrations, they have carnivals that are just go on and on and on for miles. And they have roller coasters with loops, and they have an inverted traveling roller coaster and stuff. So it's crazy.
Did you see the video? It went viral about the fastest roller coaster in the world. I can't remember if it was Japan or it was in Germany or where it was exactly, but this thing was going dare I say 200 miles an hour or something crazy like that. And it's almost like a straightaway type of thing. And it does have a few, I don't think they have spins or anything on there, but it has a few.
Well, to my knowledge, the fastest one in the world right now is in Abu Dhabi.
That's it. Yeah. That's where it is. That's it. And
Formula Rossa, something.
Yeah. How fast is that thing going?
I think it only does 150.
Was it? Okay.
I don't think it's 200.
I thought it was still stinking fast.
That is crazy fast.
It's all right. I mean,
whatever.
It'll work.
You gonna go there next?
Oh man, if I could score that somehow, I'd be all over it.
Okay, so
butter on a hot biscuit.
Did you see that the Abu Dhabi has that the Warner Brothers World?
Yeah, or is that Dubai? It's one of those places. Yeah, there's one over there.
Yeah, it's one of those. It looks amazing. Like you're going into the Flintstones world. You're going into Road
spent
Runner.
Some money, yeah.
I mean, like that. It's like, why can't they have something like that in the U.S.?
Because we're giving them all our money for their oil.
Well, that's no fair.
It is Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi. Mm-hmm. Okay. So, you know what? Roller coasters has a very rich history.
Correct.
So, what kind of thing can you bring to our listeners about the history of roller coasters? Well,
as we know them, they started in Russia.
Okay.
And they, in fact, the Mexican term for roller coaster, Mexican. Spanish.
Okay.
There's a roller coaster in Mexico that's called, I can't remember how to say it in Spanish, but basically Russian Mountain.
Oh, Russian Mountain.
So
okay.
Before somebody coined the term roller coaster, they were called Russian Mountains.
Okay. Now, what's the reason for Russian Mountain?
Because in Russia, as their form of entertainment or to pass the time or whatever, somebody got the idea. It gets really cold in Russia.
Sure.
And they had basically like we think of sledding here in the winter. Instead of snow, they had ice. So they would take some kind of vehicle, like a sled or something, and they would go down the side of the hills really fast on the ice. And so it was very similar to what we think of as a roller coaster now, and that was how they got their thrills. So then they got the idea, well, how can we do this year round?
So what year is this, would you guess?
Oh, we're in the
1800s?
1850, 60-ish. Yeah, okay. Something around like that. And they built some, they do them on the side of the hills. Then they'd build some man-made structures, and then they'd try to figure out, how can we do this without the ice, So we got the rollers, the wheels, that kind of thing. So that's really how roller coasters started.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it was like, okay, this is fun. Let's do it all year round.
Yeah. Makes perfect sense to me.
Makes perfect sense to me too. I mean, if that's the thing you like.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I wrote this down because I could not remember this.
This is because we're old.
We are. After the Russian mountains, oh, you know what? I was way off. Russian mountains, 1600s.
Oh, 1600s.
1600s.
Wow.
Yeah. So 1800s was the first roller coaster in Paris.
Oh, okay.
And that's that may have been where I don't know if they called it a roller coaster, but it says in Paris, it was the first one that had wheeled cars locked to the track with guide rails, like to keep them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, so that may have been where I came up with the 1800s. But yeah, 1600s, Russian mountains, then they started building, or at least the first one, Paris, 18.
Wow. I had no idea roller coasters are that old.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
There's been thrill seekers for hundreds of years.
Wow.
You want to see some really interesting pictures, go online and just look up images for Russian mountains.
Yeah.
Roller coaster.
Oh, okay.
Because you'll see some old black and white.
Yeah.
Like crazy. And drawings. A lot of drawings.
Right.
So how did roller coasters come to the U.S., though? You've already told us about Spain and France and Russia, or Germany.
Yeah. So there's a really famous, the way the story goes, there's a really famous, what's called a switchback railway.
Okay.
And I don't know I never know if I'm saying this right, but it's Mauch Chunk, M-A-U-C-H, and then the word chunk.
Uh-huh.
And it was in Pennsylvania. And we're in the mid-1800s again, I think 1820-ish, 1830-ish. They had a railway that would go up the side of a mountain, and it would switch back. It kind of come down a little bit at a time, then go the other way.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So like a switchback.
Sure.
And it was to get coal down.
Oh, from mining.
Yeah, mining. Absolutely.
Okay, I gotcha.
Well, I guess some guys or gals or somebody thought, hey man, this would be fun to ride this thing down, People started saying, hey, I want to try that. And so they basically stared selling rides on this little railway because they were making a killing. People wanted to do it. You should look up pictures of. There's pictures of old pictures of people.
They're riding, old now, right?
And they're like going down the track, and wind, their hats are flying off, and it's funny to watch. But
Pennsylvania, right there. I don't know if I'm M-A-U-C-H chunk.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna put ride. Because it came up with
railway.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
The history of roller coasters, the Mauch chunk.
Sure.
Gravity Railway.
Yeah.
There's a picture of it right there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's insane. Right there.
Yeah, you could ride down.
Uh-huh.
That's from a top of a mountain all the way down. That is okay. Yeah, that's what I got here too. Wow. Yeah, that's insane.
That's a cool drop.
Yeah, you'd love that. Because there's no brakes on that bad boy. It's coming
down.
That's
right. That's right.
Okay, so in the U.S., it kind of got it started in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And then
there was a guy in 1884. His name was Lamarcus Thompson. Mm-hmm. He actually constructed one, not for any practical use, like for mines or coals or whatever, just for people to ride. And he constructed that in Coney Island in 1884. And again, he made a killing.
You notice, by the way, that Jason doesn't know how to pronounce things either, so that's nice.
Well,
we're keeping with tradition.
I was going to say, in our podcast, we have people's names or locations, and we just butcher them.
And we just say it. We're like, yeah, we're probably butchering this, but we do what we can.
We lost listeners in Canada because every time we said Canada, we go, oh, Canada.
No way.
Yeah.
Take off, you hoser.
That's what I would say.
Take off, eh? So anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No.
LaMarcus
Thompson.
So he decided he was going to take the thing he saw in Pennsylvania. I'm assuming he saw it.
I don't know how the story goes on that. He just decided, I'm going to try this roller coaster thing, and gravity-powered cars that go fast down a hill seem to make money.
Right. Okay. That's true. At least at that time, that's for sure. It's a lot more sophisticated nowadays. And what year was this that he decided to build it in Coney Island?
I wrote that down. 1884.
1884. Okay. So this is before the turn of the century.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So Coney Island, that was a pretty busy place in the late 1800s.
Yeah, it was a pretty big deal.
It had a lot of immigrants coming in and stuff like that.
Yeah, just New York,
Yeah.
People
so
looking for something to do.
Okay, so he made something similar roller coaster, just gravity fed, basically swing back, and they had to pull it back with a rope, and then people got on and they shot him down again. Is that the kind that it was?
Yeah, I think that's the concept. I don't know exactly how it was built, but yeah, it seems like I want to say there was something crazy, like he made his money back in like 3 weeks or something.
Yeah, it's crazy.
After he built it.
Yeah. Okay. So then after Coney Island, I mean, basically what I'm wondering is how did we get the kind of roller coaster that are like absolutely nuts nowadays?
People just wanted the next thrill.
The next rush, right?
Yeah, I was going to go ahead.
No, you go ahead. What was your next?
I was going to say, I wanted to talk about one of my favorite guys in the history of roller coasters.
Oh yeah, totally, share it.
His name is Harry Traver.
Okay.
Traver. He is credited, I would love to meet this guy. He is credited as designing the most terrifying roller coaster ever.
Okay.
Like, supposedly it killed people, and there was a nurse on duty in the station for people who needed her after the
Are you serious?
Serious. Crystal Beach Cyclone. It's credited as being the most terrifying roller coaster ever built.
Is it because people actually died on this roller coaster?
Supposedly. I don't know how much proof there is, or if you could, but
I mean, that's good publicity.
You betcha.
That's right. Just like, yeah, you could die on this ride. Let's ride it.
That's how I judge my roller coasters. Like I told you guys, the more warnings on a sign for roller coaster, the better the ride's going to be.
Yeah, but you know what? You can always bring your expectations down whenever it doesn't meet those expectations. You know what I mean? It's a real major disappointment. I mean, like they gave you all these warnings on the mean streak.
Well, yeah, that's true. It can work in the opposite way.
It was like,
generally speaking, if it says like no pregnant women, back trouble, heart trouble, you're in the right place.
You're in the right place.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was the name of this roller?
The Crystal Beach Cyclone.
Okay, and this was, I'm guessing, in the Coney Island area?
It was New England. I don't know if it was actually Coney Island, but it was in the east.
Okay.
Somebody got that looked up?
What I have here talks about, I'm not sure if I'm on the right thing or not. It says the Cyclone Coaster at Crystal Beach Park, Ontario,
that's it.
Ontario, Canada.
Oh, it's Canada.
Canada.
Oh, okay.
It says,
take off.
Was a purveyor of this extreme fear.
Yeah. I would love to I'd give almost anything to be able to ride that today.
So what happened to the ride?
I got tore down because too many people were getting hurt on it.
No way.
Yeah, it's, again, crime against humanity.
It says, Crystal Beach Cyclone is one of a terrifying triplet of high, extreme, and vicious roller coasters designed and built by Harry G. Traver in the late 1920s.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's that ominous
Listen
or
to
menacing
this, though.
or anything like that.
This is what an article says about it. The eye-boggling severity of the ride's drops, coupled with the neck-wrenching tight turns, butchered riders during their ride into hell and back.
Wow.
The coaster was so punishing that a resident nurse was at the station to greet
there you go. That's what you were saying, yeah.
After their ordeal. She had to deal with bleeding noses and bruised ribs, together with cuts and abrasions.
Cuts and abrasions, wow.
It sounds like an insurance nightmare. You know, I mean, this thing's not insured, is it? Because there's no way anybody would ever...
Then let's get on.
No.
It was dubbed the original white knuckle ride.
Oh, wow. Okay, wow. All right, so death looming on every roller coaster is a plus for you.
Yeah, why wouldn't it be?
I think that's the reason why I have an aversion to it. You know, I don't want to jump on a roller coaster because I have this thing about life and death. Death repels me. Life, you know, and pain. That's the other thing. That's the second one. I'm allergic to pain.
Well, that which doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
Yeah, I think that. No.
You know.
No, that's not how that works. Not with me, at least. That's kind of like saying it's a dry heat. It's still hot.
Right.
You know?
Well, I think we're wrapping up another very good episode.
I think we are. You know what? I want to have, we both want to have you on again for sure.
I'm down.
Especially the next time you go to Cedar Point.
Okay.
And then you can tell us about, cause there's some new rides out there, isn't there?
Yeah, we didn't talk about, they probably got like 13 or 14.
New rides.
I
Well,
think
not new rides, but roller coasters weekend.
Okay.
Right. I think it might also be interesting to get him on here, and if we could get Sarah to do it too.
Oh yeah.
To talk about your experiences with Disney World.
Oh.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be pretty
Or
good.
like your dolphin things you've done and all.
Yeah.
Because you guys have had a lot of experience with different
have,
things
yeah.
like that with your family. So
Jason, that's awesome. Thank you so much for being on
glad
the show.
to be here. Glad to be
really. And listen, if anybody would be interested in asking some questions about roller coasters, or they have something to add to this podcast, just simply write us at tenderfoottourist@gmail.com. I pass them along to Jason too, if you'd like.
Absolutely.
He's the man.
Well, something.
You're something.
He's a man.
A guy. But
he's the guy.
That is the end of a 2-part episode of roller coasters. We were talking with Jason. We were talking with Jason Dingeldein, very good friend of ours. He is obviously enthusiast.
Yeah, he's a roller coaster enthusiast.
Big time.
It was really interesting. I loved doing that because you and I are not roller coaster.
Roller coaster.
We are not roller coaster enthusiasts.
No.
I really would like to be.
Yeah.
I'm just too chicken, but I'm working on it. I mean, you and I have talked about trying to overcome some of our
That is true.
little fear things as we get older, and maybe that's going to be one of mine. I don't know. We'll have to see if I chicken out.
Yeah, I don't know if my heart can take it.
You can stand by and smile and give me 2 thumbs up and
Oh, you know I'm always supportive.
hold me when I cry.
I like to do that, but I hate it when you cry.
I know, because you're sweet.
Yes.
You're my sweetheart.
Yes.
Okay, anyway, mushy.
Mushy.
Thank you again for listening to
Oh, yeah.
episode 60,
Wow.
the one about bunny hops, barrel rolls, and boomerangs.
There you go.
Part 2.
I'm Steve.
And I'm Sandy.
Until next time.
Stay tender.